Are you looking to improve your sales without resorting to pushy tactics? Welcome to Sales Made Easy, the podcast that helps you to achieve better sales results and gain long-lasting clients through relational selling. Let's get right into it. So today's topic is the alter ego. The reason I'm bringing up the alter ego is when I got started in sales 150 years ago, I had to project someone other than who I was, okay? And I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but hear me out. So for my ego, I was somewhat intimidated. I was in my mid-30s, I was starting sales, I was around a bunch of people in their 20s. I didn't have the education that was the typical education to get into corporate sales. I was coming from the mission background. But going in, I knew I needed an alter ego. I wasn't familiar with any books on the topic. I just felt like I needed to project someone other than who I was at that moment. That's my dog shaking. I didn't give this a ton of thought. But really what I was looking for was a way to project myself as to be the best person I could possibly be for that environment. That environment of sales, making sales calls and calling back on people who at one time showed they weren't interested or there was some hesitancy, required me to be a little bit more, I don't know if the word is outgoing, maybe a little more bold than my normal personality would dictate. So one of the things I did was I changed my name. You guys don't, whoever's listening to this, other than my wife and maybe a couple of other people, but you know me as Harry. Harry is my alter ego from 1997 when I got into sales. My entire life prior to that, my name was Tony. So my nickname was Tony. All growing up, my dad's name is Harry. To avoid confusion in the household, they said, my mom said, well, we called you Tony to make it easier. And all through high school, all through my adult life into my mid-30s, I was Tony. Harry was my dad's name. But going into business, I said, you know what? Harry sounds more professional. It's the name that I can be a little more bold with compared to this friendly, super friendly Tony guy and who's always cracking jokes. Harry's cracking a lot of jokes, but not quite like Tony is. Harry's a little bit more serious. You get the idea. So this alter ego is now a book, and I take no credit for it, but I had Chris Badgett on a LinkedIn Live we did a few weeks ago, and we were talking about this, and he said that there was a book about the alter ego, and I went, holy smokes. And as I went through this book, the summary on, I think that's Head Start is the app that I use, or Headway or something along those lines. Head Start might be a child's program, but Headway, I think, is the app where you can get these book summaries. And I went through that. And some people will say, fake it until you make it. You got to fake it until you make it. Is this the same? And the answer is, I think the answer is no. I mean, it depends on how you view things, but it's not faking it. It's putting yourself in the light of you being your best self. And even though you may not feel like you're ready for it today, it's what we do. And we put ourselves in that position and we're better positioned to serve or to hit the goal that we want to hit. In my case, I wanted to be a great salesperson. I knew I needed to be more bold. I had to adapt this alter ego. So if you're in a similar situation where you're a little bit timid about making the calls or a little bit timid about calling back or following up on someone, adopt the alter ego. The person who you will be a year from now or 2 years from now, that person has no problem making the call. That person is as smooth as silk. That person lets go of all fear and does what is necessary to grow their business. So the alter ego, for me, changed my name from Tony to Harry, other than the family that calls me Tony, but everyone else these days has called me Harry, and that's been the case for the last 20-something years. Hope you get a kick out of that, and if you're a little timid, look at your alter ego. That may help. Thanks for listening to Sales Made Easy. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Also, you're invited to join the Facebook group Sales Training Selling with Dignity. Serve first, the selling will follow.